Good morning. Back again. I'm just going to check something because somebody sent me a comment and I have to walk all the way over here to check it. Yes, it is streaming, Deborah. It is streaming. You just have to wait until the camera comes on. So, yes, we're here, we're streaming live. If you do have a question, you can put it in the comments. I can't promise that I will see it because I'm concentrating on practice, because it is a guided practice. It's not really a lesson as such, although, as you know, I do give the odd teaching tip. But we're going to focus on some of the themes that came up in the Q&A again. And there's going to be some inversions today. So if you're not inverting, if you're either menstruating or you don't do inversions for various reasons, I'm showing alternatives all the way through, and you just have to go back to where you are comfortable with. Don't do anything today that you don't normally do with your own teacher, in terms of things like headstand or handstand, because this is not a learning platform, this is a shared practice, okay? If you want to learn those poses, you have to be going regularly to your teacher to learn that from them, or from me if you come to me. Okay, so stay in your comfort zone, be safe, but at the same time, let's explore the practice together. So we'll start with the invocation to Patanjali. If the sound volume is a little lower today, it's because my microphone is slightly dodgy, so I'm charging it up over there. But hopefully I can see on the sound levels that it's not too bad, so hopefully you can hear me okay. All right, so we'll start. Bring the palms together in front of the chest, close the eyes, and we'll draw the senses inwards, and I will chant the invocation to Patanjali. Feel free to join with me. Yogena citasya padena vacham malam sharirasya javaidhyakena yopa karotam pravaram muninam patanjalim pranjaliranatosmi abahu purushakaram shankachakra siddharinam Sahasra Shirasam Setam Pranamami Patanjalim Hari Om. Maintaining the lift in the chest, bow the head down into the heart. And then as you exhale, release your hands and raise your head, open the eyes. I'm just going to adjust the volume setting because then it may work even better. So just bear with me. Just have to take this up a little notch. Okay. All right, so we're going to start with Adho Mukha Svanasana, or Adho Mukha Virasana, and then Adho Mukha Svanasana. So I'm going to turn my mat round so you can see me properly. So yeah, we'll start off in this pose, Adho Mukha Virasana. Yesterday I was talking about having proper height for the head, so that you settle down into the pose without pushing the crown of the head down towards the floor. So if it's the first pose of the day, feeling a bit stiff, have plenty of height for the head. And then you can always turn it down once you feel the back is opening. Forehead should be down, the chin away from the chest. So if you hear silence in between, it's not because the sound's gone, it's because this is a guided practice, so there's not as much instruction. I'm practicing with you. And then come into Adho Mukha Svanasana. And remember that we were talking in class about the fact that we tend to push the head too much, push the neck too much. So keep the ears in line with the upper arms and we were driving the thoracic spine deeper in, trying not to let the elbows collapse. And thinking about those thigh bones, top thigh bones pressing back, top shin bones pressing back, back to the legs extending down. Those of you with the hyperextended knees, you have to grip the calf muscle to the bone of the lower leg and not push the calf back. Don't bend your knees. That will never cure hyperextended knees. It's like not going on a plane does not cure fear of flying. Okay, and then walk forwards into Uttanasana. Stretch the arms down, then release the neck. So again, the head can come up, but eventually it has to come down so that the body releases down, folding the elbows. Be in Uttanasana. And then release the hands onto the hips and come up and stand up. Okay, so we're going to take Ardha Uttanasana, so that's half Uttanasana at the wall, or if you've got a high back chair, then do it with a chair, although a chair sometimes doesn't have the right width for the shoulders. I like to have my hands sort of, at least shoulder width apart for half Uttanasana, and sometimes the chair is a bit restricting, so I will go to my wall here. If you've got a rope wall, you can put your hands on the rope rings and then step back for half Uttanasana. Feet can be slightly apart to start with. And again, watch that the head doesn't drop. So we want to try and feel that that upper back is, well, the upper back is moving in. The abdomen lifts towards the spine, so there's that opening of the shoulder girdle, armpits, shoulder blades. The grip of the triceps towards the bone, outer hips moving back. And then just have a little rest. We're going to go again, this time with the legs together. All right, so bring the feet together and go back. Buttock bones piercing the flesh, as they say. Lift those kneecaps up. And then take the left foot back and bring the leg into a supported Virabhadrasana 3. Try not to let the leg turn outwards. Keep that outer right hip gripped in. And bring that leg down. And then glide the right leg back, same action. Now all of these poses now are your alternatives to the inversions. So even Adho Mukha Virasana, Adho Mukha Svanasana, Uttanasana, this pose can be your alternative to the inversion, so that when we start to do the hand balance practice, even the half one, if you've got shoulder problems and you can't tolerate weight bearing, you can do any of those poses leading up, plus a couple more that I'm going to show. Better check my list. Yes, so we're going to take the heels to the wall for Adho Mukha Svanasana. So downward facing dog again, with the heels up at the wall. I've got my heels up, like on that little skirting board there. So that's another option, okay? But do this, hopefully you're doing this with me and not just watching this. I do know how much time people spend watching these videos, I check my analytics and the average watch time is 23 minutes, which is odd because this class is usually about
45 to 60 minutes long. So try to do the whole thing in one go. I know that's not possible sometimes, you know, life gets in the way, what have you. But for your benefit, try and do the whole thing in one go, and it will feel a much better practice when you do it like that. It will feel more cohesive. You'll get more out of it. Okay, so then, Ekapada. So if you can go one step further, take the left leg up first. So that left leg extends towards the heel with my toes touched under. You've got to watch you don't swing your right hip out. So keep that outer right hip gripped in. And push the inner right heel down and move your trunk towards the wall. And then we come down and we change legs. Obviously, some of you will need to bend your knees and have a rest in between. I'm staying up in my dog. And one leg will feel very different from the other. Keep that outer left hip gripped in. Stretch from the inner groin of the right leg to the inner heel as much as you can. Move the trunk towards the leg. And then bring that leg down. And rest for a moment in Adho Mukha Virasana. If your arms are very tired, you can bring the arms back more like a child's pose. Okay, and then we'll come up. So then, this is the half hand balance moment. So if you're menstruating, you're not to do this next bit, but you can do any of the other bits. So I usually do my dog pose like so. I don't have my hands super close to the wall, otherwise I don't get up there with my shoulders. Tuck my t-shirt in. And then we go up, we put the feet on the wall. But if you're at home, you're doing this against the door, can you please make sure the door is shut and locked? It's not going to drop. So you bend one leg, and I look to see that my knees are level. When I bend this leg, I don't bring the leg high up. I bring the leg so that it's a bit wider, a bit higher than hip height. And then I start with my legs bent, push my chest towards the wall, and slowly straighten the legs by pressing the thigh bones towards the ceiling. The legs can be together or slightly apart, but not wide apart. And again, I hope you're all doing this if you're doing it. If you're not doing it, do dog pose, Uttanasana. And then we come down, we change. So then you go up with the other leg. Let me just check to make sure yes, that's fine. Okay. Then you go up with the other leg, this one. And start with those legs bent again. Okay, so you get your upper back in, stretch up through the arms, lift the outer hips to straighten the legs. And then come down with that same leg and stand in Uttanasana. Just bring the feet slightly apart, stretch the arms down, stretch the head down, release the head down. Just let the backs of the wrists rest towards the floor. And obviously, if you don't reach the floor, you can put your hands on bricks. But this is nice for resting the wrists there. Okay, and then you can come up out of there. All right. Yes, so I'll show you Adho Mukha Vrikshasana, and those that want to try this, you can try walking in and stretching a leg up. You can try walking in and jumping a leg up. You can try walking in and going up. Okay, so there's lots of different options. Even if you're not going upside down yet, you can still do the first part. You don't have to even jump or anything. And I'll show you with the bolster, because that's a useful method to use. You can put a belt on the elbows if you're used to doing that. All right, and even if you're not going up, doing dog pose like this, you do dog pose first. So Adho Mukha Vrikshasana. Vrikshasana is tree. Adho Mukha is downward facing. So it's handstand basically. And if you're using a bolster, you put the crown of the head towards the bolster, but don't let your neck round like that. Your head can lift slightly. Because I'm demonstrating, I'm hoping that I can get up. It sometimes works the other way around where I can't get up because I'm demonstrating. So I'm going to try and jump up. So actually, no, sorry, beg your pardon. The first stage is to swing the leg up and down like that. So you can see you don't need to jump around to do that. And then you swap legs and do the other leg. And you practice one leg stretching up straight. When you go to do the jump, you have to get that leg up straight and follow very quickly with the other leg. Very quickly. And then once you get up, you push up, push up, push up. So are you doing this with me? Or am I doing this on my own this morning? So have a go. See if you can push up, or jump up, or lift a leg. And then when you come down, you can go back to your Uttanasana and rest. Take a couple of deep breaths. Okay, and then try again. And remember, please don't take risks on your own if you're not used to doing this. I don't want to receive emails tomorrow saying, oh, I hurt my wrist because I haven't done it before and I wanted to try it. Okay, so one more go. See if you can kick up and lift up. Push into the floor with the hands, lift the arm bones up, lift your elbows, lift your heels, and then come down and do Uttanasana. In fact, put your buttocks against the wall and do Uttanasana with the buttocks against the wall, legs away from the wall, so slanted, toes turned in, and fold your elbows. And then release your hands, look forward, come up, and stand up. Okay, now we're going to do Shirshasana head balance, but some of you will not be doing Shirshasana head balance, I can guarantee that. So what you're going to do instead is Prasarita Padottanasana. So you can take your feet wide and place your head down towards the floor, or go forwards to a chair, right? Making sure the legs are vertical. Go forwards. This is okay for the periods as well, for menstruating. Be here, and then you take the head down towards the floor, or put the head on a chair and fold your elbows on the chair. Okay, so that's your alternative to head balance. The rest of us are going to do head balance now. Yes, do whatever you normally do. In the Q&A, we talked about using the brick, but I don't really want to teach that on a guided practice because it's quite strong. Come to class or ask your own teacher if they can teach you, or do that in your own practice and just explore that. Yes, okay, so I'm going to get my support and I'll turn this way so I can see the clock. And we'll do a 2 to 3 minute head balance, not a long head balance today. So Rita was asking about the wrist bones. So when you place the elbows, just place them down. Slice the arm down. Get that. If you push the wrist away slightly as you press it down and then turn the hands, so the palms of the hands are opening enough for you to put the head down, you'll find the wrist will stay in contact with the floor. That's what she was asking, because her wrist comes up when she goes up. Actually, I can't see the clock, so I'm going to have to guess. So it may be a 2 minute head balance, it might be a 10 minute head balance. And as soon as you get up, repress those wrists down, repress the forearms. Now I'm going to stop talking in a minute because it's not really good for me to talk and do this pose at the same time. It's quite a strain on the neck, on the throat, sorry. So get get your balance, or if you're doing the other pose, be in that pose now. Okay, so you can start to prepare to come down. Keep your shoulders well lifted, keep your forearm pressing down, and then try and come down either with one straight leg or two bent legs. Come down as much as possible with control, and then sit back down into Adho Mukha Virasana. If you feel that as if you need to move the head, just put the chin on the rolled blanket or on your two fists, like that. Let your arms relax. And then we'll come up and release.
Okay. Right, so now we're going to take Supta Padangusthasana. That was a repeat of the question that we had last week in the Q&A because of the sound problem. So we're going to take that pose now. So you can just lie down and, oh goodness me. Just lie down and make sure that your shoulders are well tucked under, buttock flesh moving towards the backs of the thighs. Extend the legs out. If you need support for the head, take support for the head. And then we'll bring the right leg into the belt first and extend that leg up. And first of all, have the belt on the roots of the toes, on the balls of the toes. And stimulate the big toe mound from the big toe mound to the little toe mound. Spread the toes. And same on the left foot. Don't let the foot drop. Keep the big toe mound spreading and extending forwards. And spread from there to the little toe mound. Now on the same leg, move the belt towards the heel bones and wriggle it right down towards the heel. And feel the difference there. And remember that what my sister said in the Q&A as well was that her teacher told her that and this is what I was trying to say about the leg bone moving into the hip, that this position of the belt is more skeletal, because you can feel the femur bone, literally feel it drawing into the hip socket. And this position of the belt is more muscular. You can feel the calf muscle and the back of the knee ligaments extending. Then move the belt into the arch of the foot. And here you get everything happening all at once. It's wonderful. Push the foot up into the belt. Okay, now keep the belt on the arch of the foot. Hold the belt with the right hand as close to the foot as you can. Bring that leg out to the side. Control the left leg. Control the right hip by drawing that femur bone, sucking that femur bone into the socket, whilst lengthening the muscles. So the muscles have to lengthen and broaden as well as contract, and the leg bone has to draw into the hip.
So you don't want to pull your joints, you want to firm your joints. Okay, and then come up and release and change legs. Extend both legs away, and then we'll take side 2. So that belt goes around the left foot. So let's bring it around the roots of the toes first. Make sure that's on a single touch. So we'll pull down, and you'll notice one side, when you pull down on one side, it feels like you're getting some, with the other side it feels like you've got a wooden leg. You pull down there, and then move the belt to the heel bone. Feel the difference in the femur, in the hip. Very important for those of you with the hip problems to put the belt on the heel bone. Actually, you might find some relief there. And then the belt on the arch of the foot. Pull down, feel that same kind of double action. And then hold the belt in the left hand. Stretch the right arm out to the side. Bring that leg off to the side. Oh, I've got to lift. I can have a little rest. Ah, that's quite nice actually. And keep the right leg extending. Push into that heel. So I'm still getting extension between the 2 points. I'm just having a little holiday there with the left leg. I'm still working this leg strongly. Okay, and then we'll come up and release and roll to the side and come out. Okay. So then there was a question about Upavishta Konasana, so I wanted to repeat that pose now. And also I can show you what I did, because some of you, in the Q&A, I apparently had the camera angle a bit wrong, so you couldn't see where the block was. But somebody was asking about this pose because of the stiffness in the back and trouble doing it. So I was showing different ways to do it. So the preparation for that, Supta Padangusthasana or Prasarita Padattanasana, the standing pose that some of you did as an alternative to the headstand, helps you with this pose. And I also said that you could start with the legs bent, put a belt on each foot, and then extend the legs out like that and hold the belt. So that's another way to do it. And then someone was asking about hyperextended knees. And I said, well, first of all, you've got to support the head of the calf with a roll, like a roll towel or a roll blanket, not the back of the knee. And then actually, you could put your heels, and I'll just show with one foot because I'm not going to do this. Put your heel up like that. And if you support this part of the muscle here, the knee can't hyperextend anymore, but this will get the message that this calf has to hit up to the bone. Because hyperextended knees is because of lack of tone here and here, or overuse or underuse or whatever. I'm not entirely, I haven't got because everybody's hyperextended knees are different, so there's all kinds of different things going on, but it's usually never about the knee itself. It's usually always about the calf or the hamstring. Okay, so in other words, don't support your knee like that if you've got hyperextended knees, because you'll never get rid of it. All right, and this will never learn that, Okay, so that's what I was doing in the Q&A, and people couldn't see it apparently, because I couldn't see my foot. But hopefully you can see that. So we're going to sit in our Upavishta. So you need to take whatever supports you need. I'm on one folded blanket today, just to give me a bit more movement forwards to the top of the sacrum. If you're flexible, you should sit on the floor. All right, but I like to have a little bit of a lift because I'm not naturally flexible. Sometimes I'm lazy as well, and it's just nice to have a comfort blanket under the buttocks. But anyway, so I want to feel that the back of the thigh is reaching towards the floor, faster than the back of the knee or faster than the calf muscle, and the heel bone's pressed. So if you press the heel bone, the back of the heel and the top of the thigh at the same time, all of this area will sort itself out. Let's turn towards the right for Pajna.
and go as far around as you can. Take the right hand across the left, take the left hand across the right thigh and turn. Don't loosen the left hip, keep that gripped in. And come back to the centre and go the other way. So start just with the body looking over that left leg, right hand is forwards. And then bring the right hand across more and walk the left hand round more and turn. And then come back to the centre. Go again to side one, to the right side, and go forwards over that right leg as much as you can. If it doesn't work for you, if you can't move at all, just we'll focus on the twist, okay? Go forwards over that right leg. You don't have to catch the foot, you just keep the hands beside the leg. Because what I'm trying to do is get you to feel that extension there on that part of the thigh. And then come up and go to the other side. So one side will be very different from the other. And then come to the centre, and those of you that can go forwards, push the inner groins out towards the inner heels. If you can grab the big toe, sorry, Mandy's just talking to me, there you go. Grab the big toe, this is the Padangusta grip, yeah? Angusta is the big toe, Pada is the foot, and then we're holding the big toe of the foot and going forwards. And then come up, bring the legs together in Dandasana, and lift up. Okay, so that was just a little bit of an aside, because the next pose we're going to do is sort of counter that, and it's Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, I think. Let me just double check because my notes seem to have disappeared. Yes, okay, so what we're going to do now, we did work a little bit on back bends and we've done some inversion work, which really does target that upper back, doesn't it? That the hand balance does, especially. I'm going to do Urdhva Mukha Svanasana because I want to connect that to the Setubandha shape of the body, right? So we've been working on this pose from the floor. Now, those of you that struggle to come up, you can take the bolster method, okay? You can take the bolster method, you can put bricks under the hands. So the bolster goes underneath the tops of the thighs and your body is down on the floor like that. In fact, the tops of the thighs near the pelvis. Then you've got your hands on bricks. Keep the toes down unless you get terrible cramp, in which case bring the toes that way. And then draw the elbows back and curve upwards. Okay, so you've got to try and straighten the elbows. But if you can't, you might be in a Bhujangasana type shape instead. That's absolutely fine. Or you're here. Okay, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana variant. That's for those that can't get up. Got wrist problems, you know, weight bearing problems, what have you, or it's just upper body strength. It's not quite there. But those of you that can do the pose, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, upward facing dog, the hands are going to be by the chest to start with, under the shoulders, tops of the feet down, elbows back, and lift, okay? And first of all, we're going to be here. It will feel a bit strange, then we come down, then we move the hands back. And we do that 3 times. So start off with the hands near your shoulders, not forwards of them, near your shoulders, under your shoulders, then a bit further back, then a bit further back. So we'll do this 3 times together, okay? Yeah. All right. So, stretch the legs back, press the toes down, either have the feet slightly apart or have the big toes touching heels out. Hands underneath the shoulders first, elbows drawing back, and roll up. And lift up, lift your chest. Now grip the push the tailbone forwards towards the pubic bone, but lift the tops of the thighs up without letting your bottom go up. Open the backs of the thighs, and then come down.
very hard to talk and do this at the same time. So you won't get me staying for very long. Then move the hands a little further back. Try not to shift your feet forwards when you come up. You'll want to, but don't, just come up. Press the heel of the hand down, elbows back, curve, and lift. Roll the shoulders back, lift your chest, look up. It's upward facing dog, so think about your dog or your cat when they do this pose. They don't tend to groan, do they, when they go up and down. And then the final one, see if you can tolerate going further back, go further back, and curve and lift up. And then come down, fold your elbows, release your forehead. Okay, and then you can come up from there. Just do downward facing dog, just to release, if there is any tension in the lower back. Okay, and then you can walk forward and come up. So one of the poses that was talked about was Setu Bandha, about the working legs in Setu Bandha, whether we should work the legs or relax the legs. There's so many different bridge poses that the full bridge pose, where you have the hands on the back and you're extending the legs, yes, you have to work the legs, but there also has to be this kind of detachment from that as you go deeper into the pose. And as it is with all poses, the ultimate aim of yoga asana, is effortless effort, when the effort to perform the pose becomes effortless, which doesn't mean that the pose becomes less powerful or that you're working less. It just means that you have a detachment from that effort, you know? So, yeah, okay. Let's take the brick. And if you can't tolerate this pose because of back problems, then choose one of the other methods, like on a bolster, or just a couple of foams, or put the brick this way up, all right? You need to be able to lift the hips to get this in place. And also, if you're menstruating or you have difficulty keeping the heels down on the floor, put bricks at the wall, foam blocks at the wall, the same height as this block. So I'll show you what that looks like. And I'm going to show you a belt method as well, which might help some of you with the leg work. So if I wanted to have a very restful pose, I'd put the blocks the same height as the brick. So I'm just using the brick to measure up the blocks. And then, let's move that there. Then you have to get yourself into the right position. So if you're using the wall, it takes away some of the effort, you see. So these props give us that doorway, that little window into effortless effort sometimes. Sometimes the props make things harder and more intense. But if I was to balance on my shoulders without this brick, I'd be making much more effort. Here I'm just resting my tailbone on the brick. I don't have to think about it. And then I can extend my legs out. I'm going to go closer to the wall so you can see. The belt goes around the thighs. It can go around the feet, but I'm going to choose the thighs today. So mid-thigh is midway between the groin and the knee. And I'm saying that because if I say mid-thighs, and I've seen it in class, people put the belt in all kinds of funny places. It's the middle of the thigh, between the knee and the groin, like that. And that stops the legs from flying out. Oh, there we go. So now I'm in the right position. I can just tweak that. I've got my heels at the wall, I've got my feet on blocks, and I've got the belt on. Now, guess what the belt also does? Because the belt is not just about controlling, it's also about touch sensation. So I feel the belt there. I can feel my legs, the belt's going up. I'm thinking, right, I've got to press that belt down. So there you go. It's effort, but it's effortless because somebody, the belt, is telling me what to do. I don't have to think about it. Okay, so that's the method I would recommend you try. If you want to go lower and take the blocks away, do that. But work your legs and see the difference it makes to your pose as well. The difference it makes to me is it opens the front groins here. This all starts to open, and then I can get more onto the tops of my shoulders and have less aggravation in my lower back. If I don't work the legs, the lower back in this position, because it's basically your whole body isn't supported like on a bolster. It really does help to create that space. And then you can close the eyes. So this is what somebody was asking about, the fact that this is a dual pose, isn't it? You've got the intensity of the work of the legs, the opening of the chest, but then the head is looking towards the chest, and we close our eyes in this pose. It's a contemplative pose, and yet it's also dynamic. And you have to watch the breath, because if the breath becomes ragged and harsh in the throat, it means you're making too much effort, and you have to back off a little bit and just like let the legs go for a bit, focus on the breath, and then re-extend the legs, repress the legs. See if you can find that sweet spot between effort and intensity. All right, and then bend the knees and put the feet on the floor. So coming out, sometimes the back can go into that kind of feelings if you can't lift. So you just take it easy, lift as much as you can, stay there for a moment. Then as you come down, don't over flatten the back, but just roll down, wait. Don't flatten your lower back into the floor. See, this is what people do. They suddenly start bringing their knees towards their chest and pulling their limbs around, and then they get the catch in the back. You just got to wait for the body to catch your mind up sometimes. So then what I do is I move a little bit, and then I might bring a leg in. This is my least favourite way of coming out of this pose, actually, but lots of people like it, so that's why I'm showing it. But can you see I'm I'm holding around the back of the knee, and I'm not pulling that knee towards me. I'm just letting the weight of the leg release the lower back. You don't want to be pulling the knee in like that and stretching, because what you're doing there, the back has been concave. So what you're doing there is a completely counter action straight away after quite an intense active pose. So be careful with that, yeah? So the other legs, I'm holding here, not holding here, because that means I'm pulling too much. I just want to feel the leg fall down onto that lower back band and to release there. And then actually I want to do something else. I want to roll out and do Adho Mukha Svanasana. So I'm just sharing my feeling in my body. It might help some of you. And then I walk forwards and come up. And then we can get ready for Shavasana. Okay? So that Setu Bandha was your headstand shoulder balance equivalent today. It is called Setu Bandha Shavangasana after all. So we're going to do that Shavasana next. So make sure that you're warm enough. Have space around you so that you can relax your arms properly. If I fall asleep, just switch the stream off. No, I won't. I have done in the past, fallen asleep in the class, only for like a very, very split second. But it felt like about an hour, and I'd only been drifting off for half a second. But you need to, give this pose, this Shavasana, your attention, and don't just flop down, but really study how you lie down, how you go about lying down. And you have to learn to be intolerant, actually, of any disturbance. So I can feel, for example, that my heels are off the edge of my mat, and it's annoying me. It's bringing my attention there. So I know that I haven't positioned myself correctly. I need to keep my heels on the same surface as the rest of my body. And then now the awareness of my feet is going. I can release. And then, are you on the same place on your left hand as on your right hand? Which knuckle are you rolling onto? And if you're not even, then tuck the arms, shoulders under until you're even on the hands. And then take some breath awareness, slowly watching the breath. And then let go completely and relax. So then you can bring your hands across your belly, or stay where you are if you're staying longer. What I tend to do is bend my left leg and roll over onto my right side. And then I bring my left hand to the floor and I slowly open the eyes as I'm coming up. And I keep looking to the floor until my trunk has come upright. So thank you for joining me today, and I'll see you in class or see you next week.